This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to Silent Witness, where we talk about cold cases and true crime. Today, Christina's bringing us another cold case, right?
Yes.
All right, here we go. What you got, Christina?
So let's go back to 1996.
Ooh, that's a good year.
And you know, I like to give some history.
Yep.
First flip phone, what goes on sale that year? I love I've got one
That's so
sitting.
funny.
I've got one sitting on my table, an old flip phone.
Do
my
you?
son loves it. He wants a flip phone so bad.
No way, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
He's
I
so
hated
weird.
that thing. Nokia.
Yes.
Okay.
So the first flip phone goes on sale that year,
Mm-hmm.
and the 26th Olympic Games were held in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
In the movie theaters was Twister, the original.
The good one.
The good one. And
Sorry.
another favorite of mine, Jerry Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a good movie. Topping the music charts were Mariah Carey and Boys to Men.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I know you young people don't know Boys to Men, but they were amazing. So,
Boys to men.
Yep.
Yeah.
so
Okay.
okay.
Wow.
Love,
Taking me back.
yes. So we go back, and my son was born that year.
Oh, see, it's a good year.
Lavernia. Am I saying that right?
don't know.
Lavernia, Texas. Hopefully I'm
Well,
saying that right.
If it's not, let us know.
Yeah, sorry. It was a small town about 25 minutes outside of San Antonio.
Okay.
Okay.
North,
let's-
east, west?
I don't know.
South is like in the water. Okay.
I did look out on the map, but I can't remember.
Okay.
And I don't
So-
even know if I'm saying it right. Hopefully I am. Lavernia.
All right.
Sounds right.
Sure.
Patty Vaughn was a beautiful young mother and wife. She was a devout Christian who loved taking care of her kids, stay-at-home mom, and she loved singing in the church choir.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, her children at the time, 5, 7, and 9. And she was married to J.R. Vaughn.
Okay.
They married around 1986. It seemed that they moved around a lot
Okay.
due to J.R.'s work. He was, I don't know if he still is, in construction.
Oh, yep. That'll do it.
Yeah, they had their 3 children, Brittany, Ray, and Kyla, and that's a boy.
Okay.
And they settled in Lavernia.
Alrighty.
So at the time, like I said, Patty was a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Patty and JR separated. They were having some marital problems.
Okay.
According to my research,
Mhm.
family and friends described him as not a very nice man.
Oh.
He had some anger issues. One story that I read
Lovely.
about. Yeah. One story I read about was that JR got mad, threw a glass jar of mayo against the wall.
Okay.
He was likely abusive.
Oh, okay.
JR moved out and Patty settled in with the kids and she began working as a secretary at an electric company.
Okay.
So, according to research and everything I read, Patty seemed happier now that they had separated.
Well, yeah.
She eventually started dating a man named Gary.
Oh, okay.
He was a long lost love from her teen years.
Oh, fun. I love stories like that.
Yeah. They, I guess, dated when they were teens. They both married other people, got divorced, and then came back together.
Okay.
Patty seemed really happy. She was happy with him. The family really didn't know Gary that well, but she did seem happier.
Okay. They didn't like know him from when they were younger.
No.
Okay.
And then people change too, so.
Sure.
you
That's
know.
fair.
And if they did know, they probably don't know him at the time.
I'm Googling. She's super cute.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Okay.
So, so just an interesting story I came across during
Uh-huh.
my research is that Patty and Gary were out eating.
Okay.
And a member of the church, I think they were at a Dairy Queen. We were just talking about that.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a
Loves
member of the
DQ.
church saw them and
Uh-huh.
reported back to the minister of the church they went to.
What?
Now, everybody knew she was separated. Minister knew, this church member knew. But
Busy body.
Listen, don't even get me started on church. That will get me canceled, I'm sure.
I'm just saying. God
Okay.
probably said, mind your business.
But and I don't think he said anything to her, but in the moment, but then reported it back to the minister. And so one evening, Patty was at choir practice, and in front of everyone, in front of the choir, everyone that was there, the minister came up and reprimanded her, saying she shouldn't represent the church, she shouldn't represent the choir.
Ew.
This is humiliating. And because Patty took pride in singing in the choir, being a Christian, going to church.
Okay.
And she was embarrassed and obviously sad and humiliated.
What a jerk.
You know, she took pride in her faith. And,
Okay.
you know, and so I think that was like the first part of December in 1996.
Okay.
But anyway, so that, yeah.
Gross.
Listen, don't even get me started.
That is
again.
gross behavior, sir.
Yes,
and not
sir.
very Christian-like.
No. Don't be
Jeez.
running a church and acting Christian when you're not.
Ugh.
Anyway.
I hate it when people like that are supposed to be leading other people.
I
Anyway,
know.
it's a whole other podcast.
I could go in on that.
But here we are, beginning of
Okay.
December 1996, and poor Patty had to deal with that misogyny and
Yeah.
judgment.
And again, they knew she was separated.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
I mean, anyway. Okay.
So let's go to Christmas Eve,
Oh, okay.
1996. We're going to jump ahead a few weeks.
Okay.
Patty brought Gary to a relative's home for dinner.
Aw.
Everyone seemed to like Gary, and they had a great time.
Okay.
And this is, again, Christmas Eve. So Christmas Day comes, and Patty allowed JR to come spend the day with, or the, you know, first part of the day with her and the kids at home.
Oh, that was nice.
Making the kids have a good day.
Sure.
And later on, I think Patty had planned a date with Gary that evening. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Christmas morning, early that morning, Jeannie, which is Patty's sister, and I believe at the time Jeannie was quite a bit younger.
Okay.
I think she was 18 at the time. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But it was Patty's sister. Spoke to Patty. Patty was crying and upset because her and JR got in an argument.
Ugh.
Later in the day, JR's sister stopped by to see them. I want to say they were going to lunch or something, but
Okay.
JR answered the door. He said that Patty was in her bedroom and not feeling well, and she kind of shooed him away, but not before sending the kids with her for the evening. So he sent the kids with his sister for the evening.
On Christmas.
Yes.
Was that set up prior? Do you know?
I don't know if I know that the kids would have had to been taken care of, but I don't know who was supposed to have taken care of.
Like if he was
them.
supposed to have them the rest of the day or.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Okay.
But that really wasn't like Patty. According to family friends research, she would have at least greeted, you know, her guests and tried to be a good host. She wouldn't have just stayed in her room and, you know.
She would have come out and said, hey.
Hey, sorry, I don't feel well. Something.
So it was weird.
Yes, it was definitely uncharacteristic.
Oh, that's a much better word than weird.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. That's why you do what you do, and I just react.
So later in the evening, when Patty didn't show up for dinner, I don't know if they were. This has confused me. Some places say she was supposed to have dinner with her family, a cousin. She was supposed to go out with Gary. So I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, she was supposed to be somewhere.
She had plans.
She had plans, and she didn't show up. And so family called, and JR answered. He told them that they had an argument.
Mm-hmm.
She got mad, left home in her van to go be with Gary, and hasn't come home since. Hasn't come home that evening.
At that point. Sure.
Yeah. And so obviously they called Gary, said, hey, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
And he hadn't seen her at all that day. And now they're worried.
Yeah. Was he like, we were supposed to meet? Or was he just like, I haven't seen her?
I didn't.
It doesn't get into it.
It doesn't get into that. But he was very worried, very upset, that about this and the fact that she's gone.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So the next morning, Patty's cousin went to Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, okay.
To file a missing persons report. And they kind of blew her off. She's an adult. She can leave. Peace
Whatever.
out.
Good job, cousin. Okay.
But she tried. They tried to explain that Patty would have never, ever, ever left her kids. Not overnight. She had never done it before.
Oh, wow.
And she
like
was
they'd never gone to do like sleepovers or anything.
As far as I've read, yes.
Okay.
That's correct. I could
those are her babies.
be mistaken, but allegedly she would not have just
pieced out.
Yeah.
Sure.
she was devoted to those kids and did everything for them. So, and then they didn't take that report. So again, this was the day after Christmas. So later in that afternoon, early afternoon, Patty's boss, some places I read said boss, some said coworker. So it could have been a coworker, it could have been the boss. But I'm going to say boss but it could have been a coworker. Was driving about 15 minutes from where Patty lived.
Okay.
About 5 minutes from where they worked, or 5 miles. And he saw her blue van on the side of the road with a flat tire.
Huh. Okay.
So the boss or coworker couldn't get a hold of Patty, so called JR to get the keys, and he was going to fix the tire and move it to the employment, get it off the side of the road.
Okay.
So JR dropped the spare keys off with the boss, and he changed the tire and moved the van. But one thing of note, the boss drove that exact same route earlier that morning, and that van wasn't there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Patty was not at work. She wasn't near the van. She wasn't.
So it wasn't like it wasn't there earlier in the day, and then she went to work, and then it happened. She got the flat, and she walked into the none of that.
No, because she wasn't at work.
Just randomly,
and nobody could get and the coworker or boss couldn't get a hold of Patty, so that's why But he wanted to get the van off the side of the road. Mm-hmm. Because it was weird. Mm-hmm. The boss was concerned that he called the police, and so the police arrived on the scene and noticed that the tire hadn't been punctured. It hadn't blown out.
Okay.
But instead it appeared to have just the air let out.
Okay.
Okay. They noticed that the van was really clean.
Okay.
And as a mom, we know that our vehicles with young children are never clean.
Ever.
And the engine, to the touch was still warm. When you put your hand on the hood, it was still warm.
Well, wait. That's what the police noted?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would make sense if they moved it to the parking lot at the work.
It probably wouldn't have been that warm just to move it. And that could be. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not an engine mechanic. I don't know.
Okay.
That's least of concern at this point.
Right.
But again, the car was shampooed and wiped completely clean. It was shampooed so good, it was still wet.
Ugh. Okay. Yeah. JR.
And
come on, buddy.
And again, as we know, with little kids, it's not spotless clean.
No,
yeah,
never.
you can clean it, but then, in a few days and who's gonna clean on Christmas? So
no, yeah. Okay.
So investigators decided to search for prints, DNA. They did find one set of prints that did belong to Patty.
Okay.
That hadn't been wiped down. And then they did find traces of blood in the van. And it was just traces. So they thought, well, maybe, maybe Patty got a flat tire, pulled over, and was abducted. But let's look at that. What you think? You think that's a plausible?
Well, I already said JR.
Well.
Do I think that's plausible? I mean, anything's possible.
People get abducted on the side of the road.
Sure. And if she's there trying to fix a tire, but it wasn't a blowout, right? You said it looked like the air had been let out.
Yeah, but
I mean, how far away from her house is it?
About 15 minutes from where she lived.
That's a long time to be like.
But about 5. Well, yeah, but about 5 minutes from work. So maybe just, I don't know, had a slow leak and they just didn't notice it right away.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. So again, let's look at this theory. The tire was not punctured, like I said. It appeared to have been the air let out, and they did examine the tire real closely to see maybe slow leak, whatever, and there was no reason that it should have been flat. There was no slow leak, and it did appear that the air was
still intact.
Yes.
Okay.
It did appear that it was intentionally let out.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Also, the van was not there in the morning hours. And the boss...
Right, you said the boss didn't see it, right?
Yeah, and he didn't just overlook it. He insisted it was not there. So the scene, too, where the van was, it didn't appear that there was a struggle. Most people would have, and they said Patty probably, if she was abducted, she would have at least tried to fight. And,
sure.
And most people would have. But, if not, some people may freeze,
Mhm.
with a gun pointed at them. But there were no footprints. It didn't, the area, there was no scuffle in the grass or,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
There's nothing that indicated that there was any kind of struggle or fight
The scene didn't appear to be disturbed.
where it was found. Okay.
Yeah. And, of course, we can explain traces of blood in the car,
Mhm.
maybe you're doing something and you cut yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. But, again,
I just ripped my toenail off this morning, and there's probably a little bit of
you're probably leaving your DNA right here.
right here at Rogue Media.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to examine this crime scene.
Okay.
Okay. Patty's purse and keys were not in the vehicle, and I do not believe they've ever been found.
Oh.
I could have been wrong on that, but
well,
I don't believe that they've been found.
because JR put the keys back in his pocket.
Well, what about Gary?
What about Gary?
Gary may have.
Nah, you're trying to throw me off.
I am. Because Gary, you look at all the men in the lives. Maybe Gary got jealous of JR. Maybe they were going to try to work. We don't. Let's get into Gary.
But don't we know that the last person who saw her was JR?
Yes.
Okay. Get into Gary.
Let's go. But we're going to get into Gary. So, but first, before I talk about him.
Yeah.
Of course, the area was searched where the van was found.
Okay.
It was searched extensively. 500 volunteers, police, everybody,
Okay.
was in the area searching.
Okay.
Friends, family.
Mm.
But again, as I've said, when you have an investigation, you start in the middle with the
Mhm.
closest and move out.
Okay.
And police began to question everybody involved in Patty's life, family, friends, and of course, Gary as well,
Mm-hmm.
and JR. But let's talk about Gary first. So Gary was very cooperative,
Mm-hmm.
even was distraught, even helped with the searches,
Okay.
was there. He voluntarily passed and took a polygraph.
Okay.
He also had a very good alibi for Christmas Day. So he was,
What was it? Do you know?
I don't know.
Just that it was solid.
It was a solid alibi, yeah.
Okay.
He answered all the questions. Again, police ruled him out. A few years later, Gary died in an automobile accident.
Oh.
So he is no longer with us.
That's sad.
So let's talk about JR,
Yeah.
Jerry Ray. That's his name.
Jerry Ray. That's what it is? Okay.
Yes. He didn't help with searches. He, of course, said, "Oh, I got to be here for the kids.
Okay.
He didn't help pass out flyers. An interesting thing that I found is that a couple days before Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
JR told his landlord, "Hey, I got to break my lease. I got to move." But
Hmm.
JR didn't have a place to move.
So he was just like, I gotta go.
I got to move. I got to get out of here. I got to break my lease. But he had no other place lined up to move to.
Okay.
Patty disappeared 2 days later, and now he's living in the home with the kids.
That's magical.
That speaks volumes. And he also had a very nonchalant attitude in the aftermath. Like, it was uncaring, I guess. I don't want to put words. I don't know
Okay.
what word I'm trying to say. Anyway.
Just didn't care.
I-
Just apathetic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice, dude. Nice.
JR did initially speak to the police.
Okay.
He told the same story that he told the family, that they got in an argument. It was about 6:30. She got in her van and left and said, "I'm gonna go see Gary," and then that was it. And he hadn't heard from her. Realizing now that he's being looked at pretty seriously, he did refuse polygraph,
Mm-hmm.
and he lawyered up real quick.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he, of course, once you lawyer up, you're not talking to the
Nobody's
police.
talking to you, yeah.
No. He also refused to let the police speak to the children.
Well, aren't you a big old pain in the ass?
He also refused to let police into the home, but Mr. Policeman got a search warrant.
Good.
And on December 29th, he couldn't refuse anymore.
Ha.
So the investigators did find traces of blood in the bedroom, closet, and bathroom.
Okay.
And like in the movies, they luminoled it.
Yay.
And
wasn't a
they
lot.
found more.
Okay.
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 That had been cleaned up. But you can't clean up all the stuff. All
Right.
the stuff.
Super scientific.
Enzymes and
Super.
yeah. Interestingly enough, blood was also found on a mop and a bucket.
Oh.
After testing, of course, they sent it off, and it was Patty's.
Okay.
Despite the findings, this is where the police messed up.
What?
Despite this, they didn't consider it a crime scene.
The fuck? Oh.
We better. Okay, well, we can say the F word.
It is what it is.
We can say
What
the
the
F
heck?
word. What the fuck?
How do they not? Never mind all that blood or the mop and bucket that also has blood.
But since they didn't consider it a crime scene and rope it off, JR and the kids continued to live in the home, thereby removing stuff if they want to, cleaning up more, getting rid of evidence, etc.
Well, you know what's creeping me out is that they're leaving the kids with this dude. Like, if the kids were witness to something nefarious, they have to sit there and be with this man all the time?
Yeah, but if they witnessed anything, you got to understand, too, they did go with the sister that evening.
Yeah, but Patty was already, quote, quote, laying down, not feeling well.
Well, that's what he told the family.
Right. But that's what I mean. So she's
Yeah.
probably dead somewhere at that point. The kids don't know.
I don't know.
They knew. Poor
don't know.
kids. Freaking trauma.
Does this story not remind you of a couple of cases we've done?
Freaking men.
Bianca and Shelley.
Shelly, yeah. Shelly came immediately.
Well, Bianca too.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, my goodness.
And it's the same area.
DV is just, oh my gosh. As soon as you can get out. Help.
Well,
your
you'll
people.
like this next little tidbit I'm
Does
about to tell
JR
you.
get B-word slapped? Because that's what I would like right now.
Okay, well, then you were going to like this little story.
Yay!
Well, about 2 months after Patty disappeared,
Uh-huh.
this was about February 1997. Nothing was happening with the case.
Mhm.
Patty's family was distraught. And, of course, they believe JR's responsible.
Right?
What is JR doing? He's living his best life at home with the kids and
poor kids.
moving on. So in February, Patty's mom was arrested.
What?
Not for
What?
hurting her daughter. No. She was not a suspect in her daughter's disappearance,
No.
but for breaking into JR's home and beating him with a baseball
Hell
bat.
yeah. Oh, gosh.
You are cussy today. I love it.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, I love it.
I'm sleepy.
No.
Wow. Good job, Mom. That is the kind of mom I am. Just in case people are wondering.
Yeah.
Baseball bat. No holds
I don't
barred.
know. I don't know the injuries. I could not find that. I did search.
Don't care. Hope stuff was broken.
I did search the criminal records and didn't find anything where she
Mhm.
was convicted. From what I did find, they never pursued it and they dismissed it. I mean, listen.
That's amazing.
But she was charged with.
I mean, come on, dude.
She was charged with assault, burglary, and I think robbery. So she
I
has some
think
pretty serious
a
charges.
bat is kind of excessive, but also
No.
you think he killed your kid. So
and
yeah,
he's living his best life.
yeah, and your grandbabies are there
And,
and have to be around him.
she was desperate. JR had the kids.
I bet she just wanted answers. She's like, "You're going to tell me
And
now."
that's what I think. I think she was like, here
let
you
me
go.
know,
You
mother
better tell me
trucker.
or I'm going to keep beating the hell out of you.
Heck yeah! Do you like this kneecap? No. Okay, cool.
No, I beat you in the head. He should have killed his ass, but
We're just telling you how we really feel today.
Listen.
I mean, my gosh.
It-
For one of my kids, hell yeah, I'd go
It
to
also
jail.
should be noted that he did get custody of the kids, and Patty's family, he would not let the kids be around or speak to, contact Patty's family at all to this day.
Disgusting. Shame on you.
I mean,
Again,
what does this remind you of? What cases? Bianca and Shelley.
oh yeah, the kids.
Exact same thing.
Domestic violence is a biatch.
So, we've seen in other cases rumors, speculation ramped up.
Mm-hmm.
JR was in construction.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about some of the things that have come that maybe, happened.
Okay.
He was working at the time at a school, building a school in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the supervisor of the construction, part of the construction project. So, of course, concrete's being poured when you're building a school.
Mm.
And so supposedly he had poured the concrete a couple days or a week before Patty disappeared, a couple days before Patty disappeared. But police decided to search the school anyway because records can be falsified.
Oh, true.
So with radar equipment, cadaver dogs, they did search and, they didn't find really anything in the concrete of note. And then, of course, cadaver dogs can detect a decomposing body through smelling of the gases that would have come through the concrete.
Mm-hmm.
and nothing was found.
They didn't react at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another area JR worked was a site where a pit was being dug, and they did investigate that and really couldn't find anything there as well.
Okay.
I think he was digging a pit at the home, or there was a pit at the home, but now, they can't.
Nothing came of their search.
Yeah, I think eventually they did search it after JR moved out, and some
Mhm.
other people moved in and allowed him, and I don't think they found anything.
Oh, okay. Well, good on them for keeping up with it.
Well, yeah. So in 2005, JR decided to declare Patty legally dead to get the life insurance, of course. Patty's mom said, "Oh, hell,
I hate this
no."
man.
And I did see these court records. I did look
Ooh.
at these court records.
Okay.
But Patty's mom said, "Bye, no, nope, and filed an injunction.
Nice.
Eventually, the money was, after a while, the money was put in a trust for the kids when
Good.
they grew up.
Good.
So further DNA testing was done. 1996, we didn't have the technology we do now.
Sure. No. Mm-mm.
So further DNA on the van was conducted around 2012 or so, and an
Okay.
unknown female's DNA was in the van. Unknown female. It was not Patty's. It didn't belong to the
Interesting.
kids.
It wasn't familial. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't
Okay.
family members. It wasn't. It was just somebody they don't know. Now, they do
Interesting.
have kind of an idea who it is, and I do too.
Does JR have a girlfriend?
We'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
But I kind of have a suspicion. But the police do know, but without probable cause, they really can't.
Go talk to her. or
Yeah, they
whatever.
can't get, and they're not. She's not going to. Come on. So it's likely that it's JR's sister.
Oh, he has a
So now sister was a little bad lady. I was about to say something else. I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get sued again.
I mean,
well, apparently during the search of the home back in December of 96,
mhm.
she was at the home and was being a total Karen,
Why was she there?
getting in the police, questioning. They finally had to escort her off.
Oh, so she's as pleasant as her brother.
So
Shocking.
she's Miss
Shocking.
Karen before Karen was a thing.
Yeah, that didn't exist in 96.
It did, but we
didn't have a name for it.
did, bitch, but
Busybody.
I'm not saying that it is. Allegedly, it could be JR's sister. It could be a girlfriend. It could be a friend. They do not believe JR acted alone.
Okay.
But, she did act like a fool at the property. So others know something and others have helped, obviously.
Okay.
So JR eventually moved out of state, changed his name, and raised the kids.
Changed his name.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, we already knew he was a coward.
He never, to this day, allowed the kids to speak to Patty's family. And of course, they're grown now.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
to this day, he remains the main suspect.
Mm-hmm.
The kids still haven't contacted Patty's family. And, it's
sucks.
sad for them. Just like the kids in Shelley's case. I think the kids in Bianca's case are still underage. I could be wrong. But, it's amazing what you're told and what you grow up to believe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't have anything they haven't contacted the family, which they could be scared. They could be brainwashed. Just like,
I mean, they could just be adults who have their own lives and it's just
yeah.
random strangers. I
And-
mean, sorry, I know it's family, but
And I'm not going to, put down them because they've
Yeah.
been through a lot.
yeah, no. Mm-mm.
And we don't know what they've been told.
Sure. Mm-mm.
If it, just like in Shelley's case, they could
Mhm.
be told, "Hey, we didn't do nothing." Blah 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 blah.
Right.
But
Mm.
somebody knows something, just like in any of these cases.
Mhm.
And I do believe somebody knows something, and they need to get ahead of the law instead of being charged with it.
Mhm.
Let's not cover this up anymore. Let's get
Okay.
justice. Let's find Pat. Patty's still never been found.
Ugh. Shoot.
Patty needs to be found. And, with the blood found, it's likely she's not alive, but, the family is desperate to bring her home
Yeah.
and lay her to rest. And somebody knows something. Again, just like I've said on all of these cases, somebody knows something, even
Absolutely.
if it's insignificant, and you're like,
Does this matter?
Yeah.
Maybe.
It doesn't
Maybe.
matter if it matters. Call and find.
Find out.
yeah.
Share.
So,
It might trip something else.
yeah. So, of course, the Texas Rangers have investigated this, but you can call the Bexar County Sheriff's Office at 210-335-TIPS,
Okay.
TIPS,
Mhm.
or 210-335-6000.
Okay.
So,
And is this on the Rangers cold case website?
yes.
Okay.
And it's, it's plastered everywhere. This has been a well-publicized case.
Yeah. A
but-
Google search is like,
yeah. And I
comes
wanted
right
to,
up.
I wanted to cover it just because it has reminded us of Bianca and Shelley, and it needs to be solved, just like all of these cases. And these women don't deserve it.
No.
I mean, Patty didn't deserve this. All she wanted was to go to church, raise her kids, and be a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we need anybody who has anything about Patty Vaughn or J.R. Vaughn. Do we know what his name is now, or is that
I don't know what his name is now. No.
big tall coward?
And I think he's living in Idaho or Iowa. Or he was in Colorado. He was in South Texas near the border, but he moved to Colorado. I know that he remarried at one point, divorced, and then moved somewhere else. So
how's that wife? Hey, second wife.
yeah, if you're hearing this, let's call. And
Did he ever get drunk and spill anything?
yeah,
Let's go.
but call the Bexar County Patty Vaughn if you know anything. Patty Vaughn, Bexar County Sheriff's Office at 210-335-TIPS. And
Is there a Crime Stoppers one for this one?
I think that's the Crime
Is
Stoppers
that
one.
that
tips,
is it? The tips line? Okay.
I think. Call the sheriff's office, and you can Google Bexar County Crime Stoppers. But I think the one tips is Crime Stoppers. I could be wrong, but yeah, call Crime Stoppers and let's get this case solved. Let's find Patty.
Any tidbit out there. Let's get Patty Vaughn found. Let's get some information for her kids and her family and her mom.
And go listen to Bianca's case and Shelley's case, and you'll see the similarities, especially Bianca, because they're from the same area.
That's crazy.
And Bianca still hasn't been found. So let's.
And Shelley,
she was found, but
no, I know, but construction, like the husband was in construction,
yeah,
right?
Something, yeah.
So it's all crazy.
It's yeah. We need to solve these cases. In this day and age, there shouldn't be missing people.
No, you wouldn't think so. That's what I think we talked about last week, that it really is easier than people think to keep things hidden.
Yeah,
it's
but
just sad.
I do think somebody knows something. He didn't do this alone. He could not have left that van on the side of the road and walked home
Without somebody like seeing
him.
Or if he did and you saw him walking back to the house, like report that.
Yeah. But anything, report it to the Bexar County Sheriff's Office, and please follow us on all our social medias. Silent Witness TX on all the social media except for the new ones that I don't know much about.
Let's get some justice for Patty Vaughn. And with that, thank you for listening.
Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production. Are you a podcaster? Let's talk podcast hosting. Are you tired of your current podcast host? Need real support in a community that gets it? At Rogue Media Network, we offer top-tier podcast hosting services to help you thrive. From hosting and distribution to dedicated support, we've got you covered. Starting as low as $25 a month. Join our community of passionate podcasters today. Contact us at hello@roguemedianetwork.com.